you have that operation?
Last Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the last.
Week before that, you went to Sioux, went up,
Week before that, what?
I was hoping for some more work.
you went up
It was still a thing.
the bridge. Yeah. Huh. Well, you're getting around pretty good for,
Well, I'm telling Terry. I don't know. Part of it.
And, you know, that's all. Right now. No. I didn't know.
oh, thank you.
When I put it in the agenda, it didn't cut off the rest of me. I have more.
Yes, yes. Yes, it is.
I don't know, Terry's on white pad.
Oh,
I don't, first picture is back. I want to.
But it just wasn't.
She didn't have sense.
You know, with her, the verdict.
She said, she had,
Yeah.
when I, she was up for a long time, was, I had to,
Yeah.
and that's not.
Mine's fine too, because I've been having that since I had the attack, and also it's all going on.
well, that's good. Yes, yeah.
Certainly.
To turn around and go back.
Oh.
It's that morning
That
already.
was Beth. Morning, Beth.
Good morning.
All right, being 9 o'clock, I'll call to order the Monday, November 3rd meeting of the Airport Commission. I assume everybody has had a chance to read the minutes of the previous meeting. If so, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
For sport.
Move support, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Most same sign, motion carries. Is there any additional items to be added to the agenda?
No, sir.
There are no other items. I would move that we accept the agenda as printed.
Support.
Moving support, is there any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Most same sign, motion carries. Managers report.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
All right, so we've had a couple things rolling around. This fall kind of moves us closer into winter, but to start the fall, we're kind of getting closer to our final mows of the season, but we've had a couple more equipment breakdowns. Our Kubota zero turn showed some signs of faulty grounding that were loose and super corroded. It was fun to track that down because it just kept blowing fuses every time someone was on the mower, but I was able to track everything down, replace all the grounds, and put a new battery in it, all the fuses, and everything's operating as it should be. Our 100 low lead fuel truck was also having some more issues. It was having some intermittent spark issues, kind of missing every now and then. We ended up putting a new distributor cap, plugs and wires, and wires right up. We had no problems with that, so that was nice. We also had a piece of equipment for our auger to kind of drill holes into the ground, because later in the report I'll mention that. But the auger, we pulled that out because we're going to be using that here shortly. I had a couple cracks in kind of like an arm of the auger, so we're able to reinforce it and weld it all. So I was able to teach my maintenance staff how to weld, and so they can do that in the future. Grounds maintenance has been getting colder, so mowing is definitely coming to an end. And also our outdoor projects are coming to a close. It's getting a little cold to keep pushing the guys out there, so we're moving towards some more inside projects. We had 2 lights outside of the FBO on our light post. Those recently burnt out. We were able to use our large lift and able to get the ramp re-illuminated for safety reasons. Also at the windy end of the summer, took down our road sign at the airport. I believe I mentioned that a few reports ago. We were finally able to get our design and our sign back from the Insignia Signs. That's where our auger comes in play. They are going to charge us, I want to say it was around $900 to $1,000 to aug holes and put up posts for us and put the signs in. So we got rid of that. We have our own equipment, so we're just going to be doing that. Hopefully save the county some money for sure there. And the sign came back wonderful. I'm gonna put a picture of it. We should be able to in the next couple weeks. And I'll be able to put it in my next manager's report so you can see it. It's a little bit bigger and, we're gonna be illuminating it with lights, so I'm pretty excited about that. We also put up, we're going to be putting up a sign for the flight school, so they have some advertisement. They paid for their section and they're also paying for, some of the labor costs that are gonna be going into that as well, so that kind of helps out the cost. Let's see here. Building repairs and maintenance. Late September, it was brought to my attention that the flight school basement was showing some signs of moisture. We thought it was mold growing on the walls. Someone had unplugged our dehumidifier downstairs, so that was not very pleasant, but we had professionals come and take a look at it. They quoted us removal of the white substance on the concrete walls. This company said it was efflorescence, one of those two. They said it was a toxic substance needing of immediate removal, so on and so forth. We were quoted just shy of about $8,000. I then did a ton of research, went onto a bunch of forums, called around different companies, had two other people come out and quote us. The substance is simply just a salt deposit. Then we ended up, I got a mold detection kit. I sent it out to a lab. I'm still waiting to hear back those results, but, we ended up putting on our own masks, our own suits, vacuuming and scrubbing all the walls, making sure that it wasn't any mold substances. And now I have two dehumidifiers and air scrubbers down there. So that way, nobody goes down there and gets sick or anything like that. So I'm still waiting to hear back from that, company. Let's see here. Along with that, typical yearly maintenance on hangars such as roof leaks. We have those as soon as it starts to get cold, roof starts to contract and move and so on and so forth. So we go up there, we put caps on the screw head so there's no more leaks or nothing like that. Let's see here. And we've also been doing door seal replacements. Weather kind of cracks those. So we have to do yearly maintenance on those every once in a while. Let's see here. Lastly, our ASOS weather station on field is being looked into. Usually you can call in on the ground via phone, but that hasn't been working. Something's wrong with I don't know, the call-in frequency on that, but you can still hear it from the sky and stuff like that. But it has also been reporting false information like wind direction and stuff like that. So we had to make a call into that. They're closely taking a look every week, making sure that it's reporting correctly and properly. Let's see here. And lastly, airport operations. Every year at this time, crop dusting operations take place. This year we hosted 3 different companies, mostly smooth operations, which was a lot better than I could say for last year. One of the returning companies has been improving their cooperation with local traffic, and they seem to have a better system and better pilots in place to ensure more safety and traffic in the pattern, because last year they were not very safe and they were not very cordial with our flight school. So I told them, I said, if you can't improve, we're not going to we can't allow you to come back here. It's unsafe for you guys to be around them, especially student pilots. Let's see here. One smaller company unfortunately had a ground looped one of their airplanes. We were able to send them to one of our mechanics on field, and they were able to help them a little bit. It is still sitting out in the grass. They've had a mechanic come out last week, take a look at it. So hopefully they'll be able to get that airplane out here shortly. Let's see here. It's also that time of year to update our based aircraft. It's a list for the FAA to determine our airport class and funding availability. This is something that we picked up from my predecessor, but we update it more frequently. The more frequently you do it, the more funding the FAA provides you, because it shows that you're updating your airport, you're vigilant at your airport, taking a look at everything there. So we do hangar inspections. We'll be doing those all this week, maybe half of the week. These inspections are also to help ensure our rules and regulations are being followed within the hangar, that they're not being used as storage units or nothing like that. With that, the amendment that we created, at the beginning of the year or end of last year, is proving to be very successful in moving or repairing inoperable aircraft on field. So we're kind of doing that to see more of an active field. It's kind of pushed a lot of those people that have been sitting there for 5-10 years with inoperable aircrafts, either move to get a mechanic to fix their airplane or sell their airplane or remove their airplane. Just because I want more people to be there to fly, and the more active aircraft I have, the more funding the airport gets. So it's all around win-win. So with that, that's the end of the manager's report for the past couple months. And if there's any questions.
Questions of the manager? Mr. Van Dorn.
No question, but thank you for doing your due diligence on the flight school basement. I mean, and hopefully that company's not on our call list to call anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so. It was just a company that I had researched that had some good reviews, but it ended up, I believe they might have been trying to pull one over, but I wanted to be sure. I always get three quotes, no matter where I go for any project for the county.
Good job.
Are the crop dusters local or do they come in from?
Most of them come from all around, like the company that gave us some trouble. It was actually some pilots and a company that is based out of Africa. So they fly in.
Wow.
Yeah, they fly in at the beginning of the summer. They work all summer, then they'll fly their crop dusters back to wherever. I think Zimbabwe, one of them, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then the other ones are kind of based in Indiana and then I think Oklahoma. Yeah. So yeah, they fly all over and then they'll come up here and then they'll work their way down.
A statement. I appreciate Commissioner Van Doren pointing it out. As Thomas was going through the report, I think there were several occasions where you saw that as the airport manager, he's not just an administrative manager. He's very hands-on and he has a very deep interest in being, very responsible with the taxpayer dollars. And so I just wanted to point that out. I know that's first and foremost on his mind and I do appreciate that about him. So thank you.
I agree. He's saved the county a great deal. Commissioner Van Dorn.
And I will add, I heard from some of our constituents that use the aircraft or the airport quite frequently, and they're very pleased with both Thomas and Ashland, and corrected me on Ashland's name. He said, I'm calling her Ashley, so, but they were very complimentary.
Very good. Any further questions, comments?
I just agree with all of that's been said. Thank you, Thomas.
Okay, we'll move down to financial reports.
Financial reports are in your packet, and I just want to point out that on the revenue side, we are at 63%, and you think, well, that sounds pretty low. However, I do want to point out that one of the things that we have budgeted is $299,000 for budgeted out of our fund reserve in the event we need it. So that is really impacting that 63%. In most cases, if you look through the percentages, you can see that for the most part, the percentages are up. There's a few things, as an example, the rent lease land for farm. We don't have any revenue coming in on that yet, but that is something that comes in later in the year. In fact, after the first year and is booked back, if that's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Bills today and then
It will be billed today, so it'll either come in, hopefully in December, but if not, it'll come in January and be booked back. So I wanted to point that out. Overall, the revenues are looking, pretty good. On the expenditure side, we are at 56%. We always like to see a low percentage in our expenditures, especially this time of year. However, a big portion of that also you can see towards the end of the expenditures is your depreciation and depletion. We always budget $250,000 for that, and that it's an accounting function that happens at the end of the year. And we have budgeted that so that we are accounting for it. You can see a little bit lower on the second page, the legal phase 1, you can see the revenue and the expenditures there. This is mostly what we are expending out on the tree removal project, which we will update you on in a little bit later in this meeting. So currently, the benchmark is 82%. You can see that we are well within the benchmark. And we still have a cash balance of approximately $328,000. And I will try to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? Comments on the finance report? Very good. None and hearing none. Other business, the 2025 MAP meeting. Who handles that?
Yes, sir, that's me. All right. All right, so this right here, what you're looking at, it is in the packet. This is the sponsor concept list, which is projects that are designated to the airport to help improve the airport. This is something that I sit down yearly with our administrative team of engineers through whether it's Mead and Hunt and MDOT. These are projects that the airport either needs, the airside needs, or it's projects to help improve the airport. Obviously, the ones that are further up on the list, the ones that are closer in the 2025 through, 2028, those are the ones that come up in my airport inspection yearly. So like pavement projects, lighting projects, the things that come up in their useful life that the airport needs to take care of first before anything else can be taken care of. This list doesn't show exactly everything. It must have gotten cut off when I inputted it into the packet, but there is another, say, 5 to 7 concepts below that stretch further into years that will eventually be getting moved up probably next year. And one of the big ones that I was able to get approved this year by MDOT and the feds to use funding on is a fuel farm for Jet A and 100 low lead. I've been trying to coax, talk about that every year. I've been 4 years, I think. So 4 years in MAP meetings and bringing this up, I'm finally able to bring it into fruition. So I'm very happy for that. I'm hoping that project then gets moved up into the 26 or 27 range, depending on either next year's inspection or hopefully it becomes more of a dire need. It's something that I've been looking at for quite some time, just because our fuel provider over time, they might not always do truck to truck transfer. And I know that insurance doesn't always love truck to truck transfer. So it's something, and another big one is we're going to get a huge fuel price cut. So if we can take a full load, which is about 7,000 gallons from AvFuel, we end up getting, I want to say it's almost a 15% price cut. Just because we're taking on an excess amount of fuels, we don't have to do a split load with another airport, or they're not just bringing us 2 or 3,000 gallons like they normally do. So that's another big one that I'm hoping to get pushed up to the early next few years. And then there's also a couple other pavement projects. And I'll be able to update you guys next time. I'll bring a full concept list. A lot of these say like return to author, that's returning to MDOT for final approval, and then back to MDOT for putting this in the system. But once I get it back, full approval, I'll be able to bring it to either or in November, December, or January's meeting. Wow, this year flew by. But that is what you're looking at here. And if you have any questions, please feel free.
You explain what in the status, what turn to author is, what does transferred?
So transferred means back to my engineer for further planning or drawings or further explanation, like some of these, let's see here, like the visual guidance system, that one was transferred back to my engineer because we had a bit of a problem with the manufacturer for our reel project. Everything's kind of pushed back. Not really sure why, but all factories, it just all depends on the time frame we can get the parts and stuff like that. So sometimes they get changed for dates or description updates or something like that.
Mr. Van Dorn,
When you say transferred back to your engineer, who's the engineer?
That's Mead and Hunt. His name is Jared Kowalski. I believe you guys have met him.
Okay, Mead and Hunt.
Yeah, Mead and Hunt, yep.
I think another way to look at that, when you have transferred, it's more of an active project that we are currently working on, because you can see the second one down also reflects acquire easements for approaches. And that's one of the projects that we are working on. And that is going back and forth between the board and the engineers as we go through this project. So that's another way to look at, I think that's a fair
Yeah.
statement, Thomas, that if it says transferred, it's more of an active project that is, we are working on.
Yeah.
further questions? Hearing none, excuse me. Tree removal project update, do we have one?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, you do. We're going to probably leave this on your agenda for a while because there is a lot going on with the tree removal project. And that way it keeps this board in the loop with what is going on. So we have settled and closed on the majority of the projects. There is one property owner that we are still working with to secure access and, hopefully we'll be able to work that through within this next week or so. The project has been bid to remove the trees for, the properties that we are working with right now. And what the state's process is, it's bid, they look at the low bidder, that goes to MDOT, and it goes through their meeting process. Then they put together an agreement that will come to us. And then we will be looking at reviewing that, and the recommendation will be to review and approve an authorized signature on that. And that will get the project rolling, and we are looking at probably starting to remove trees. Thomas, was that in the spring? We were talking about this early spring, correct?
Yeah, it's February, March.
That's what I was thinking. So once we get all the approvals, the administrative approvals through the system, then there will be notifications that go to the property owners to let them know that a bidder has been selected. And then there will be indication of what that time frame will look like for the tree removals on their property. And then the chosen contractor will then have a responsibility to make contact with each of those individuals so that they are very much aware of when they will be on the property. And I want to make sure, Commissioner Blanco, that you are kept in the loop on that since this is in your district.
Yes.
and You may get some phone calls on it, so it's a good thing to have you on this board so that you can be aware of what that project looks like. So that's pretty much where we are on that project right now.
Any question?
Just clarification, so that will be wrapping up next spring then, completely, or?
So the first phase, keep
Okay.
in mind, there are going to be multiple phases
Phases,
as we
okay.
go into this project. So the tree removal will take place. However, they may need to come back a little bit later in the spring to do restoration of the property. In other words, to level it off, to plant
Mhm.
grass, to do
Yes.
any other remediation efforts that may have been agreed to.
Sure.
So I would say that definitely by fall, the first phase
First
should
phase
be wrapped up.
Completed. Okay.
And we will be probably looking at phase 2.
Okay. Well, that's helpful. Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Very good, hearing none. We come to public comment. Obviously, there are no members of the public. Any comments from board members? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Move to support, is there any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Okay.
Both same sign, motion carries.